Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today we're going to be doing my reaction and review for LEGO Ninjago Season 13, Episode 9, Dungeon Party. So if you would like to check out my full reaction to this episode, you can be sure to go down below to the top of the description of this video where you'll find a link leading you over to Google Photos where you'll be able to view my full uncut reaction to the episode, and then you can feel free to come back over to this YouTube video where you'll be able to hear my full spoiler review for the episode, which is what we're going to get into right now. So I would advise, of course, checking out the episode beforehand, but without further ado, let's get into it. Here I have my laptop and some notes as well that I took so I don't forget anything. But basically, the episode begins with Cole waking back up after having their big fall from the previous episode, and now he's awakened and he gets to fully kind of meet these three travelers or like adventurers basically from this group, and they are called the Lowly. I apologize, in the previous reaction and review episode I called them the Lonely, but they're actually the Lowly, so of course makes sense because they've fallen so low beneath the mines. And the three members are Corgan, and then we have Plunder, and then Fungus as well. So basically a barbarian, a wizard, and a thief of some sort, or ninja I suppose you could kind of consider him to be, kind of a mixture there. And then we have Adam the Spider as well. I wanted to write down their names so I would not forget, because of course I'm not super familiar with the characters as of yet, but basically we get to hear their origin story sort of throughout this episode, and it's cool because they chose to do it within the style of 2D animation, which we haven't seen since season 11, so it's exciting to see a return for that in this season. I was really excited to kind of see them using it, and I thought that it was used really well here. I don't like to see too much 2D animation within the show, because don't get me wrong, it's fine for like a style change, and it really works for the flashbacks, I feel, to kind of differentiate it and make it easy to understand that that is a flashback and not happening in present time. So I like it for those purposes, but other than that, I wouldn't really want to see it being fully utilized for the series. I'm a fan of the 3D animation style for Ninjago. I think it's really improved over time and it's really well done, so I enjoy seeing that and want to see the evolution of that and the progression that it goes through. So I think that this 2D animation was very well done in this episode, and I do like seeing the character designs here. Now I was disappointed at one point near the end of their story that they're telling, we don't get to see the Skull Sorcerer fully like in his outfit in the 2D style, which was a little disappointing. I would have liked to have got a glimpse of that, but it kind of makes sense within the story. So basically we start off with Corgan, who is basically explaining how he was basically trying to go on quests, and he winds up capturing this guy called Ross, basically, who he thinks is a monster at first, but it's actually his father, one of his father's friends basically, and he knows him, and he's like, why would you do this, Corgan? You don't even know what you're doing here. And Corgan seems a little bit crazy because he actually talks with his axe, which is really funny. I thought that was a really cool sort of touch that they gave there, kind of giving it a very classic cartoony style to it as well with the humor there. It kind of reminded me, honestly, the style here, especially with Corgan, of like He-Man, I would say. It really reminded me of that in a sort of way, because when they do the 2D animation, don't get me wrong, it still looks good, but it's definitely very simplistic designs, I would say, that they go with. So it kind of reminded me of that sort of classic style, which nothing wrong with that. I thought it was really cool. Brings a nice sort of vibe to the episode that you wouldn't originally see with the 3D animation. So basically Corgan is sent on a quest by his father to basically try to retrieve something for King Vangelis, and he winds up going there to Shintaro, and he meets up with Fungus and, as well, I've already forgotten his name, Plunder. So he goes there with both of them. They basically meet with King Vangelis. We do actually get to see a younger version of Vanya as well, which is really cool, so I did like that little detail. And Chompy as well, we get to see in the 2D animation style. They all look fantastic. A really well done job there, kind of recreating them. And basically he gives them the mission of trying to find this skull for him, so it's kind of his origin as well, which is really interesting to learn about. And they basically, of course, accept the quest. They wind up going beneath the mines, going through a few challenges and trials, booby traps and everything, and they wind up finding the skull. Now what's interesting is that Corgan tries to grab it to retrieve it, but it actually starts to kind of possess him, and his arms kind of start to turn into what kind of the Skull Sorcerer kind of appears to be, with like the green magic as well and a black sort of design thing going on. So it's really interesting. It seems like the skull kind of possesses you, which is interesting because maybe like King Vangelis, I mean, I think he has a few like kind of eviler intentions, or at least intentions where he's kind of going about achieving those in the wrong sort of way. But it also seems like the skull could have some sort of influence over him as well, because it was starting to kind of turn even Corgrin evil just for the few seconds that he was holding it for. But they managed to bring it back by using his axe, because of course they can't possess his axe, because that's not something that's alive. Well, I mean, it can talk, apparently, according to Corgrin. Nobody else can hear it. But basically they come back and they try to explain to him that like they need to destroy this. Like he wants to try to use it to kind of help Shintaro, or help Shintaro, I should say, but basically they wind up trying to suggest to destroy it, but he winds up, of course, turning on them. I totally saw this coming, of course, because we already know the fate that they wind up with. They wind up getting sent down the trapdoor and basically banished away, and that is kind of how it ends. We also get to see the skull kind of go up to King Vangelis, and they discuss like working together now. And of course, like it's actually pretty funny. They kind of bring up like, how did you know what he said after that? And then he was like, you know, I just kind of made it up, kind of spice up the end of that story. So I thought that was interesting because it makes sense. They wouldn't exactly know what they discussed after they fell down the trapdoor. So I thought that was an interesting little detail there. And then basically they just kind of discuss, hey, we gotta work together and we can stop King Vangelis, and Cole kind of renames them. Instead of the Lowly, now they're called the Uply, so very catchy names, not something I would have expected, but now they are known as the Uply, and it seems like Cole's kind of going to lead them into battle against King Vangelis, so I'm really curious to see how that winds up going down, and if they're able to take down King Vangelis, or the Skull Sorcerer, I suppose. So we'll have to see how it all goes. First of all, they gotta get out of that cave, and also all of the other ninja have to escape as well, with the Geckles and the Munces also, who I assume are going to probably wind up helping them. So yeah, we'll see how it winds up going, but I thought this was a pretty well done episode. I enjoyed seeing the 2D animation style. It's always nice to kind of have a one-off episode or one-off sequences using that, because it kind of spices it up and has a little bit of a change, of course, in that style. So I do like seeing that every once in a while. So let me know, what are your thoughts on the 2D animation style, and then what were your thoughts just overall on the episode. And just thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like on the video, and also subscribe if you want to see future LEGO Ninjago reactions and reviews. But thanks so much. I'll see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.